Every single day, millions of us depend on reheating leftovers. It feels like the ultimate life hack, fast, convenient, and no wasted food. You cook once, enjoy twice. But here's a question that might stop you mid-bite. Could reheating yesterday's dinner quietly damage one of the most important organs in your body? Your pancreas? It sounds almost unbelievable, right? But doctors and researchers have been raising red flags, warning that certain reheated foods might increase the risk of pancreatic cancer if handled the wrong way. That's one of the deadliest cancers out there, often called a silent killer, because it's usually detected too late. And the thought that something as ordinary as reheating food could play a role is enough to make anyone look twice at their microwave. Now, before you panic and swear off leftovers forever, let's slow down. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Pancreatic cancer has many causes from genetics to lifestyle. But scientists are discovering that the way we store and reheat food may actually contribute to the risk. Imagine that it's not just what you eat, but how you reheat it that could matter for your long-term health. Here's why. When food is cooked, cooled, and then reheated, chemical changes happen inside it. Some changes are harmless, but others, they can create toxic compounds, including substances linked to cancer. And because your pancreas is so central to digestion and blood sugar regulation, it takes the hit over and over again when these harmful compounds build up in your system. So no, reheating food doesn't automatically equal cancer. But ignoring safe reheating practices, especially with certain types of foods, could put you at risk over time. And here's the kicker. These aren't rare, exotic foods. They're everyday items you probably have sitting in your fridge right now. That's what makes this so concerning. We're not talking about unusual ingredients or mysterious superfoods. We're talking about things you and I eat every week, sometimes every day, without giving them a second thought. But when they're reheated carelessly, they can quietly load your body with toxins. And unlike spoiled food that makes you sick right away, this damage is slow, silent, and invisible until one day it isn't. Now I have to ask, aren't you curious what these foods are? Because chances are you've already reheated one of them this week. Doctors are urging people to stop reheating them without caution. And when you hear why, it's going to make you rethink your kitchen routine for good. In just a moment, I'll reveal the 4 common foods that experts say should never be reheated carelessly. Some of them will surprise you. And once you know, you'll start looking at your leftovers very differently. And trust me, your pancreas will thank you. But before we dive into that list, I want you to do one thing for your future self. Hit the subscribe button right now and turn on the bell. Why? Because your health deserves to come first. And the next video could be the one that saves you or someone you love. Don't leave it a chance. Stay informed, stay protected. Think about it. Yesterday's fried rice, that spinach soup you made in bulk, the potatoes from last night's roast. All perfectly normal, right? But what if those exact foods, once reheated, could trigger harmful changes in your body without you even knowing? The science behind this is unsettling, but it's knowledge you need to have if you want to protect your long-term health. So are you ready to find out which 4 foods could be putting your pancreas at risk? Keep watching, because what you learn today might just change the way you handle leftovers forever. And remember why you're here. Go ahead and subscribe, because every week we uncover life-saving tips that could keep you and your family safe. Don't miss the next one. Doctors aren't saying you should give up leftovers forever. Absolutely not. Leftovers can still be part of a healthy diet if you know how to handle them properly. The key is understanding which foods are most vulnerable to dangerous changes, how to store them, and the safest ways to reheat them. Just a few small adjustments can dramatically lower the risks, without giving up the convenience we all love. And here's where it gets interesting. In just a moment, we'll uncover the 4 specific foods doctors warn you should never reheat carelessly. These aren't unusual foods. In fact, they're so common that I can almost guarantee you reheated at least one of them this week. Once you understand the science behind these warnings, you'll see why this isn't paranoia. It's smart prevention. And when the stakes involve something as deadly as pancreatic cancer, prevention is always easier than a cure. So let's get into it. And while we do, make sure you hit subscribe right now, because every week we uncover life-saving health tips that could protect you and your loved ones. Don't risk missing the next one. The first food on the danger list might surprise you: potatoes. Harmless, right? But when potatoes are cooked cooled and left sitting too long, especially wrapped in foil, they can become breeding grounds for Clostridium botulinum. This bacteria loves low-oxygen environments, and it produces toxins that can quietly damage your digestive system. Even when potatoes are refrigerated, reheating them incorrectly can trigger the formation of acrylamide, a chemical linked to cancer risk. If you absolutely must reheat potatoes, the safest choice is to store them promptly in the fridge. And when reheating, make sure they're steaming hot all the way through. The second risky food might break your heart if you love eating healthy: spinach and other leafy greens like kale or celery. Fresh, they're nutrient powerhouses. But once you reheat them, those natural nitrates can transform into nitrites, which then form nitrosamines, compounds strongly linked to cancer, including pancreatic cancer. The danger is highest if spinach sits out too long after cooking, or worse, if you reheat it more than once. If you love your greens, eat them fresh, or if you reheat, do it only once, quickly, and at a safe temperature. Third on the list, rice. This is a big one because so many of us eat rice daily. The problem is that rice can harbor Bacillus cereus, a bacteria that survives the cooking process. Leave rice at room temperature, and those bacteria multiply fast, producing toxins that reheating won't destroy. Eating it can cause food poisoning in the short term, but in the long run, repeated inflammation puts strain on organs like your pancreas. To stay safe, refrigerate rice within an hour of cooking, and always reheat it until it's piping hot. And finally, chicken. This one is tricky because it's so common in our diets. When chicken isn't stored properly, or when it's reheated unevenly, dangerous bacteria like Salmonella or Campylobacter can survive. Even more concerning, reheating chicken can change the protein structure, making it harder to digest and irritating your digestive tract. Chronic inflammation from these repeated irritations has been linked to higher cancer risks. The safest way to reheat chicken is to cut it into smaller pieces so it heats evenly all the way through. Now think about this: potatoes, spinach, rice, chicken. For foods almost all of us eat, often multiple times a week. They're delicious, they're convenient, but when reheated carelessly, they can quietly load your body with toxins you'll never taste, never smell, never even notice until years later, when the damage is already done. But here's the good news. You don't have to give these foods up. You just need to handle them smarter. And in the next part, we'll break down exactly how to reheat each one safely, step by step. This way, you can still enjoy the foods you love without worrying about the hidden risks. And remember, while you're here, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell, because what we're about to cover next could change the way you think about leftovers forever. Don't miss it. For spinach and other leafy greens like kale or celery, the safest approach is simple. Cook only what you'll eat right away. If you do end up with leftovers, refrigerate them quickly. And when reheating, do it just once and keep it short. Boiling them for long periods can actually increase the conversion of nitrates into nitrosamines, and those are compounds linked with cancer. Here's a smart little trick. Instead of reheating spinach at all, repurpose it. Toss it cold into a salad, fold it into an omelet, or blend it into a smoothie. You'll still get all the nutrients, but without the risks that reheating brings. Now let's talk about rice, because this one catches almost everyone off guard. When rice is freshly cooked, it feels safe, but the bacteria Bacillus cereus can survive even the cooking process. If you leave rice out at room temperature, those bacteria multiply, and they produce toxins that no amount of reheating will destroy. That's the dangerous part. Even steaming hot rice can still contain invisible toxins if it wasn't stored properly. The golden rule? Spread rice out on a tray so it cools quickly, refrigerate it within an hour, and reheat it only once until it's piping hot. And here's a safety bonus. Don't keep leftover rice longer than a day. It's better to waste a little than to gamble with your health. Then there's chicken, probably the most common leftover of all. The problem isn't just bacteria like Salmonella or Campylobacter, though those are serious enough. It's also how reheating changes the protein structure, making it tougher for your body to digest and harder on your gut. And if your gut is inflamed over and over again, that inflammation doesn't just stay there. It puts strain on your pancreas too. To stay safe, store chicken in small portions so it cools quickly, and always cut it into smaller chunks before reheating. Use a food thermometer if you can, and make sure it hits at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Microwaving? Cover it to trap steam, and flip or stir halfway through to avoid cold spots. If you've got the time, ovens and stovetops usually do a much better job of heating evenly. And here's something most people forget. Microwaves don't heat evenly. That's why covering food, stirring halfway, and letting it rest for a minute before eating makes a real difference. Sure, ovens are slower, but they often give you safer results. Remember, fast isn't always better when it comes to your health. Now, these steps might sound small, but they add up to something huge. You don't need to fear leftovers. You just need to respect them. By refrigerating promptly, reheating thoroughly, and never reheating the same food more than once, you can enjoy your favorite meals safely. Your pancreas works tirelessly for you every single day. It deserves that extra 2 or 3 minutes of care in return. And because your health is worth protecting every single day, make sure you tap that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you never miss tips like this. Tips that could literally save your life or someone you love. Now let's take it a step deeper. It all comes down to awareness and small daily choices. In our fast-paced world, reheating yesterday's meal feels like a harmless shortcut. But as you've just learned, not all leftovers are created equal. Potatoes, spinach, rice, chicken, they can be safe or they can be risky. The difference lies in what you do after cooking. Pancreatic cancer is one of the most aggressive, hardest to treat cancers. It's called a silent killer for a reason. By the time symptoms appear, it's often too late. But here's the empowering part. You are not powerless. Every time you refrigerate food quickly, every time you heat it thoroughly, every time you avoid reheating the same dish over and over, you're reducing unnecessary stress on your pancreas. You're stacking the odds in your favor. Think about it. It takes just a few extra minutes to cool food correctly, to reheat it evenly, to make sure it's safe. A few minutes today can protect you from years of hidden risks tomorrow. You don't have to stop eating the foods you love. You don't have to throw out leftovers. You just have to be mindful. And now you know the truth that most people overlook. Most people never connect something as ordinary as reheating leftovers to long-term health. But you do. You have the knowledge to break that pattern for yourself, for your family, for anyone you share this with. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you open your fridge and grab last night's dinner, pause for just a second. Ask yourself, did I store this safely? Am I reheating it right? Because the answer to those two questions could mean the difference between a safe, satisfying meal and a silent risk to your health. And because you don't want to miss more eye-opening, life-protecting tips like this, do yourself one last favor. Hit subscribe right now and turn on the bell. This way, the next time there's an update that could make all the difference for your health, you'll be the first to know. Stay smart, stay safe, and treat your leftovers with the respect they deserve. Your kitchen should be the place that nourishes your body, not one that quietly puts it at risk. In the end, it really comes down to this: knowledge, awareness, and a few simple habits. From the moment you cook your food to the moment you reheat it, every single step matters more than most people realize. We've uncovered how something as ordinary as reheating potatoes, spinach, rice, or chicken can quietly turn into a health risk if we're not careful. We've seen why these foods can be especially tough on your pancreas, and how careless reheating can slowly build up damage over time. But we've also learned the good news, safe, practical methods that let you enjoy your favorite meals without fear. And finally, we realized that protecting your health isn't about huge sacrifices. It's about small, mindful choices in the kitchen that add up to powerful, long-term benefits. Your health is truly in your hands. The beautiful part is protecting it doesn't take complicated rules or expensive diets. It's as simple as cooling food quickly, storing it properly, reheating it thoroughly, and avoiding endless reheating cycles. Easy steps, but they can change everything. And when you share this knowledge with friends and family, you're not just protecting yourself. You're creating a ripple effect of awareness that spreads far beyond your kitchen. Think about it. Your pancreas is working for you right now, silently helping you digest food and regulate your body. It never takes a day off. Doesn't it deserve just a little extra care in return? Every safe choice you make in your kitchen is like a gift to your future self, an investment in your health that's worth far more than a moment of convenience. And if this video opened your eyes even a little, don't let this be the last time you learn something that could protect your life. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell so you never miss the tips, insights, and science-backed advice we share every week. Who knows? One small change you learn here could be the very thing that keeps you healthy years from now. Stay informed, stay safe, and always remember, leftovers don't have to be dangerous. With just a little extra care, your food can nourish you, not harm you. The choice is in your hands, starting today.